He is the face of quarterbacking on ESPN, former teammate of mine, absolute legend, Yukon Husky. Ladies and gentlemen, a man who looks strikingly similar to
Paul Giamatti.
Dan Orlovsky.
Yeah, Dan!
What's up, buddy? How you doing, Dan?
What's up, fellas?
You want to say anything to this incredible crowd that's staying out here in 120-degree heat or so out here?
What is the chant? Rule.
Couple middle fingers there. Obviously, I don't know if those were to you, Dan, or to anybody else, but I appreciate you leading the chant there. Let's talk about last night, Dan. Obviously, a team that is close to your heart. The Detroit Lions get a massive win in a beautiful culture being built by Motor City Dan Campbell and the team up there. What are your thoughts, early takeaways? Do you think it was as big of a win because Chris Jones and Travis Kelce weren't playing? Oh. What are your thoughts on Dan Campbell and the brand new Lions? We love them.
I think it's a huge win. I think Kelce and Jones not being there and kind of the way that the game gets into the fourth quarter and essentially ends, Pat, I was there for a long time. I haven't been there for a while. But even over the last couple of years, that's a game that they lose. That's a game that, like, we always, when I was there, certainly over the last couple of years, like, find a way to lose. And you sit there and go, y'all played really hard, but found a way to lose the football game. I think the big takeaway is Jahmyr Gibbs is going to be a problem. I think the more that they figure out exactly how to use him and putting him and Montgomery on the field at the same time is going to be a big deal. We call that like pony. You know, when they're both on the field in like 21 personnel two backs, but both being tailbacks. I think Laporta's a way better blocker than people anticipated, certainly me.
Damn right.
And that offensive line, Ragnow is the best center of football right now, certainly in the conversation to be. So I know people are only saying, like, oh, they only scored 14 points. They also fumbled on the 10-yard line going in, and there wasn't a ton of possessions because the drives are so long. So the fact that they kind of find a way to make the stops when they needed to and end the game with the football is a big deal.
Yeah, we're all happy for the Detroit Lions fans, obviously, because they had to go through an 0-16 year.
Yeah, gross.
Two towns have had to do that in the NFL.
That's right.
Detroit's one of them a couple times.
Yeah. Who's the
I
quarterback?
couldn't imagine. Imagine being a quarterback. I only quarterbacked like 9 of those games.
Oh,
so
my God.
Still
Did
could have
you?
won.
What?
Yeah. Still could. I think that was Kitna quarterback 3, and then Dante Culpepper another 4, something like that.
He good, I think so. And
So I'm only taking like 70% of the blame on that.
well, and also, there should be a little bit of a makeup on the other side is that you go to the Indianapolis Colts when we're almost completely defeated, and then you win 2 games at the end on a team that almost couldn't win any game. So I feel like you made up for it a little bit, but I did not know Dante Culpepper.
I did not
I thought
remember
that was
that.
you, buddy. I thought 16 times. Dan Orlovsky led the Lions on the field. That's good news. This is good. This is a great day.
Yeah.
AJ has a
Good
question for
vibes.
you, Dano.
Hey, Dan, what do you think about the Kansas City Chiefs, Patrick Mahomes, their offense? Are you worried about them going forward?
Worried, no, but that's been a conversation the whole offseason, AJ. I think I said it on your guys' show first. There's only 2 teams in the NFL that had less catches, less receiving yards, or less receiving touchdowns than the Chiefs wide receivers. They're Green Bay and Atlanta. And so that kind of showed itself last night. Kelce will come back and they'll be fine. But here's 2 things. Patrick threw the ball 39 times last night. 11 out of those 39 pass attempts, either literally no one open or drops, 6 drops. So at some point, if this continues to show itself 2 weeks or 3 weeks into the season, the concern would be, well, Patrick's just not going to throw anybody the ball other than Travis. And that's just how quarterbacks think. You guys have heard Aaron talk about it. Like, if you ain't going to get open, or if I throw it to you and you're not going to catch it, I'm not going to throw you the ball anymore. So I'm not concerned about it, but it's absolutely something to pay attention to. Like I said this yesterday on Get Up with Greeny. I'm kind of sick and tired of hearing about the word potential for the receivers in Kansas City, and all due respect. Like, I'm here, Kadarius Toney's got so much potential, or Sky Moore, potential, Justin Ross, potential, Rashee Rice, potential. At some point, we got to go do it.
Rashee Rice had a hell of a start, I think.
He did.
Yeah.
He had a couple big-time plays. Tony, on the flip side, he deleted his ex this morning. Hey, that's when you know you have a bad night.
Yeah.
Anytime it says, insert name here, deletes Twitter, now X, after last night's performance, that was a tough night. That was, I couldn't even imagine.
They'll be okay though.
Mentions.
Travis will come back and they'll be okay. I just don't know if there's enough to go beat Cincinnati, Buffalo, the Jets, Baltimore with kind of the performances of last night.
Okay, Tom Diggs has one for you, Dano.
Yeah, Dano, if there was one quarterback that you could watch this weekend that you're most interested in, who is it?
It's a great question.
Thank you.
Probably Herbert. I want to see what Herbert looks with Kellen Moore as the new play caller and kind of against the defense that he struggled against. You know, he's played against Vic Fangio's defense 4 times. He's thrown 4 picks. So I just want to see if their offense is what it should be, which is we're going to find ways to throw the football downfield. I will say Dak Prescott as well, just because the whole conversation this offseason has been we're not going to throw interceptions, we're not going to throw interceptions, we're not going to throw interceptions, and then they're playing against a defense that's going to light them up. So those are probably the 2 guys that I'm super interested to watch.
That's super interesting too.
Let's go.
That's super interesting.
I want to see Jalen play against Bill. You know.
Yeah, I agree.
Jalen Hurts.
Belichick's had the whole offseason to figure out ways to lie to the quarterback with the RPO game and zone reads. You know, the RPO game it's very. I say this all the time. Zone reads and RPOs are very 1 + 1 = 2. There's a key. You don't have to see 7 different things happening. So there's a key. And that key tells you what to do with the football. Bill's had 6-7 months now to really dive into how can he get that key to kind of lie to the quarterback to tell him to do or something to do with the football is wrong. I want to see that.
Oh, you think ghosts are potentially coming on? See where Jalen comes from with the Sirianni offense.
Putting hands where they've never been before on that defense.
Connor has one for you, Dano.
Yeah, Orlovsky, we were talking to Michael Lombardi earlier, and he loves the Rams against the Seahawks this weekend. Obviously, no Cooper Kupp. No one really talks about Seattle. What do you think the expectations are with Stafford in L.A., and then do you think Seattle's going to kind of run it back again and be one of those top-tier offenses?
I do. Mike Lombardi, the big fan of me.
Yeah, he loves you.
Dan, he said your name right. What was it, 2 weeks ago?
Yeah, he did.
He said your name right. He pronounced it correctly.
That's great.
It is good. Progress.
Seattle's offense would be fantastic. They got 2 tackles that are legit, 2 backs that could play. Obviously, the 3 receivers. Geno, no one threw more perfect passes in the NFL last year than Geno. I don't love the Rams without Coop, just because now Matthew's relying on players like Tutu Atwell and Van Jefferson that are, much better in kind of second and or third roles. Higbee's going to be probably their primary focus pass catch wise, and Van. So I think with Seattle's defense and kind of the rebuilt secondary, not the additions of how good they are, I don't love the Rams playing against Seattle, because when you have Cooper and you run your offense through Cooper and then Cooper's not there, you're trying to find people to run your offense through, and Seattle's too talented on the back end. Yeah,
I think the whole conversation about a lot of these teams could change in 2 weeks.
Yep. Yeah.
Right, Dan? How much should we put stock into this first week? You know what I mean? How much looking into the weekend in your eyes, because you've been on TV for 50 hours a week for the last 10 years of football seasons, and you have all the stats and analytics. This first weekend, how much stock should we put into everything?
Not much, because so many of these teams are going to change.
Lions
They're
stink.
No, because even the Lions, they go and win. I think the Lions played a C game and still win. I think they're capable, specifically offensively, of so much better football. The Buffalo Jets game, don't judge Buffalo till their first month. They're not going to have Von Miller. We'll see how long it takes for the Jets to kind of mold. How much does Witherspoon play for Seattle in their secondary? So there's so much that is going to kind of take hold over the next month that teams are going to change so much.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.